Welcome to today's Explainer. So today we're actually doing a deep dive into just a single, utterly fascinating piece of product marketing. We scroll past appliance ads literally every day, usually without a second thought. But every once in a while, an image comes along that absolutely demands we stop, zoom in, and really unpack exactly what those visual designers were trying to tell us.
Now, what happens when you cross a food processor with a space heater? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really strange joke, right? But I want you to genuinely keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through today's analysis. We're going to look closely at an image that completely challenges our standard expectations of, typical, mundane kitchen appliances. Prepare to have your assumptions tested by some truly wild marketing decisions.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here it is, the complete, unedited source image. At first glance, well, it establishes a baseline of complete normalcy. We see someone in a bright kitchen environment, wearing this pristine, white, long-sleeved garment, operating a modern-looking kitchen appliance on a nice, clean wooden table. It just looks like your standard promotional shot for a food shopper. But, as we're about to see, this image is absolutely anything but standard once we start digging into the specific details layered throughout the frame.
Section 1. The setup. The single touch.
To truly get this visual, we need to break it down by how the user is actually interacting with the device. If we look at the very top of the machine, all the action comes down to just one finger applying this gentle, top-down pressure on a dark, slightly textured button. It brilliantly illustrates the core message here, complete and utter effortlessness. There's no strained posture, no aggressive gripping. The visual is explicitly designed to communicate that this machine requires only a feather-light, one-handed operation to unleash its potential.
And meanwhile, complementing that effortless activation, we see the user's other hand just softly resting against the side of the clear plastic bowl. Actually, it's not even a firm grip, it's just a stabilizing presence. This hand is simply anchoring the machine to the wooden table during operation, preventing any hypothetical rattling or sliding around. Together, the posture of both hands creates this real feeling of calm control in the kitchen.
Moving on to Section 2. The payload inside the bowl.
So, shifting our focus downward, let's temporarily bypass the motor and look at what this machine is actually processing. The payload here is heavily intentional. We aren't looking at soft strawberries or, easy-to-blend bananas. The bowl is completely packed with rugged, aromatic ingredients. We can clearly see an abundance of thick-cut green chilies, scattered bright red chilies, and large, entirely whole cloves of raw garlic. The marketing team is visually telling us, hey, this machine is built for heavy-duty prep. It's perfectly capable of handling dense, fibrous vegetables without even breaking a sweat.
Section 3. The anomaly, the glowing core.
Now, what's really interesting about this is where we transition away from the ordinary and jump straight into the extraordinary. We've seen the calm hands, we've seen the raw vegetables, but right in the middle of this composition lies a massive visual anomaly. Look closely at the metallic motor unit sitting on top of the plastic bowl. Superimposed directly over the center of the brushed metal is this intense, glowing, almost radioactive-looking orange lattice. It looks exactly like the exposed heating coils of an industrial space heater or maybe the inside of a high-powered toaster oven. It is bright, it is fiery, and it just completely dominates the visual weight of the appliance.
So we have to impartially weigh the two visual possibilities presented by this really striking graphic. On one hand, is this device meant to be a literal heating element? Like, is it actually cooking and roasting the garlic and chilies as it chops them inside a plastic bowl? Or, and honestly this is much more likely in the wild world of product marketing, is this simply a highly aggressive graphic designed to visualize metaphorical power? The crucial point is that the marketers clearly felt a standard metal box just wasn't enough. They felt they needed to visually manifest the sheer, burning horsepower of the motor by making it look like a contained explosion of thermal energy.
Section 4. Visual context clues. The surroundings.
To really fully grasp the intended narrative, we kind of have to zoom out and look at the periphery of the image. Down on the wooden table, flanking our glowing appliance, we have two really distinct items. On the left, tucked just inside the frame, is a small glass bowl filled with finished bright red salsa, which is a brilliant contextual clue implying the successful intended result of pureeing all those tough chilies and garlic. But then, if you look on the far right side of the table, sitting entirely by itself, is a solitary, raw brown mushroom. It isn't being chopped, it isn't part of the salsa, it's just sitting there, amusingly out of place, adding this little touch of randomness to this highly staged, fiery culinary theater.
When we bring all of these elements back together, we uncover a highly unique marketing narrative.
Think about it. We have the serene, top-down pressure from the user, completely unbothered by the effort. We have the rugged, spicy payload of garlic and chilies, proving the machine's utility. We've got the contextual clues of the finished salsa, and, of course, the lonely mushroom, grounding it in a kitchen setting. And at the very center, literally binding the whole shebang together, we have that utterly bizarre, fiery, glowing core that just screams raw power.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Look closely at exactly how far marketing will go to convey a concept like motor strength. So, what does this all mean? Does this kind of extreme visual hyperbole actually help us understand the product better? Or does it just leave us smiling at the absurdity of the imagery, briefly wondering if tapping that button will accidentally cook our kitchen counter? It's a really fascinating look into the lengths visual designers will go to grab our attention. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive, and I hope this changes how you look at the next product image that scrolls across your screen. Keep questioning what you see,